Welcome, friends.
To the How to Heretic.
I'm Uncle Mark.
I'm Uncle Dan.
And I'm Uncle Doug.
And this is your user's guide to life on the outside.
That's right. Leaving religion is the first step into a larger, better world.
But it can also be a scary world. Things work differently now.
Never fear, that's why we're here.
We're your audio uncles, and with help from good friends and experts in all sorts of fields.
We're going to share the stories and seek the knowledge to build a great life.
After all, you only get the one that we know of, so you'd better make the most of it.
Well, it is a day of days, uncles.
Indeed.
Hola.
Hola, que pasó, que pasa. All of the tenses.
Quel
here we
pastore.
are. El Pastore, episode 127, and the hits just keep coming. We have a wonderful show this week. I'm going to talk, we're going to do geometry talk.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And I'm going to dub someone a saint.
Yep.
And I'm going to talk about why whenever the church takes 2 steps forward, they take 1 step back on a rake.
Yes, indeed.
We got some more announcements this week. We'll do
Holy
a couple
cow.
really quickly, and then we
Yeah.
got another one that's really cool. Guys, go to howtoheretic.com. There is a new tab there, The Heretic. Oh my God. Show your heretic pride with a t-shirt, a coffee mug, a throw pillow, a tote bag, a shower curtain. You name it, it's there.
It's all there.
It's all there. So that's going on, and
I'm
it's
wearing
very
a How to
popular.
Heretic t-shirt right now.
You are.
I'm
You're the
actually
first.
sporting a Heretic t-shirt. Yep.
Doug's in the merch.
That's right.
Doug's in the merch. And and what else we got? We got
That
the YouTube.
sounds like a farmer's in the dell and Doug's in the merchant.
and the ox is in the mire.
We continue to grow our presence on YouTube, our segmented presence on YouTube. A ton of thanks to listener Vern for that continued project.
Yes, indeed.
And we have one major announcement. We've been waiting for a while to announce this, so this is really exciting. On April 17th of
Guys, the devil's going down to
Provo.
the devil went down to Provo.
to Orm. Isn't
Yep.
it Orm?
It's I think it's in Orem.
They're the same.
I don't know where they're the same.
They're the same thing.
Lucian Greaves of the
Yes.
Satanic Temple
Yes.
is coming to Utah to speak
Yes.
at Utah Valley University, which is kind of the sister university to the secular version of BYU.
It's a good one.
It's the good one.
Semi-secular, yeah.
But it happens to reside in the same county, which is probably undoubtedly one of the most conservative counties in the country.
Yeah, definitely.
And the How to Heretic is sponsoring this event.
Yeah, we decided that
Woot woot.
we'd pony up a little bit to get a little bit of Satan into Provo.
So
needs to happen.
It's on April 17th, which is a Friday. It looks like he's speaking twice at 3 p.m. and again at 5 p.m. Tickets are free, but they're selling tickets so they know when they've sold out. They can manage the event. So if you are within driving distance of Utah Valley and you want to go to that event, it's on Friday, April 17th. We will talk about this a couple more times.
Some uncles will be there.
Some
Yeah.
uncles,
It's hard to know how many or who, but some uncles will be there
Yep.
to say hello and
Right.
shake your hand. So if you even if you're not in the driving distance, fly.
fly in.
We're not going to stop you.
And we'll definitely talk about it. We were the students who formed the Student Secular Alliance at UVU reached out to see if we could help. We can't think of a better cause. We're going to have one or some of them on in the near future to talk about this event and the founding of the SSA in Utah County and how that process rolled out. But hooray, Lucian Greaves coming to Provo on our dime, your dime.
Yeah.
So it's exciting news. We can't wait to, God, I hope there's protests.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Try and get the word out. See if you can get some sneak it to the news or something.
That's right. And we will post a link to the ticket getting situation. It's free, right, Doug? It's a free event.
Yeah. Free.
The ticket getting situation on this week's show. If I don't know if you guys remember this, but years ago during the Bush administration, when Michael Moore went to speak at the same university, the place nearly completely fucking disintegrated. There was so much strum and drang. So let's see if we can match that with our friend Lucian from the Satanic Temple, First Amendment hero, and all around good guy. Bringing the good news of the devil down to Utah County, and I just can't think of a better time to be had by the whole family.
All right.
All right.
Should we do a show?
Let's do a show.
Uncle Dan,
Yeah.
I like cubes.
Okay. Well, I'm more of a dodecahedron sort of guy.
Oh, very nice.
I don't
Sure,
know.
sure.
It just depends on what you like.
What was that one that we had to make? Is that the dodecahedron in algebra class back in junior high school? Remember?
Out of poster board and you staple it together.
Yeah, the big round one.
I don't know. Yeah, I hope so. I don't know. How many sides does it have? Was it 12?
Dodeca.
Then it's a dodecahedron, baby.
All right, there you go.
Isn't that 200 sides?
No, do 2 deca 10. I think it's 12. I think it's 2 plus
Welcome
10.
to geometry
Geometry talk.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna stay geometry talk. So
yeah, Uncle Mark, I think you have some geometry, some sacred geometry to share with us.
sacred geometry. So gentlemen, all around us there is power. Wonder-working power, not just in the blood of the Lamb, but all around us. But it's
Blood of the Lamb.
It's for
Somebody's
sure.
got to. At some point, we got to do like this whole like blood obsession thing because that's so foreign to me. Anyway, sorry.
But
Go on with what you're
that's
doing.
That's a hymn, and our evangelical listeners out there will know
I
it.
know. It's
the
crazy.
wonder-working power of the blood of the Lamb. But the power is all around us, guys, in the cleansing blood of the Lamb. And when I say power is all around us, I don't mean the Nikola Tesla sense of an electrified atmosphere, though I do wish that were the case. And I don't necessarily mean the mighty power of the Aaronic priesthood, which is the might God grants to worthy individuals to battle, yea, even vanquish Satan himself on the plain of Megiddo, given every Sunday across the Mormon country to bored 12-year-old boys still unable to battle their own constant boners. No, brothers, it is not that awesome power of which I speak. On today's Power Hour, Hour of Power, discussion of power in under an hour, a subcategory of our Woo Out for Which to Watch Advisory Alert Bulletin, we look not at the critically wounded lamb, nor the mad Serbian inventor's dream of a planetary light bulb, nor even your preteen Mormon nephew's ability to force push the devil himself. Instead, we turn to the power of a shape. And not just any shape, dear uncles. Show me the power of a rhombus. Fools! Can you plug a juice tiger into a dodecahedron? Fat chance, morons. Will, I don't know, an oval perfect the vibrations of biodynamic wine? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? But you know what? A pyramid will. Yes, of course, a pyramid. A structure that preserves things forever. Built by several totally collapsed, not preserved civilizations around the globe. Those long-lost people surely have something to tell us about how to make everything last forever. Well, tiny sarcasms aside, though, the civilizations are long gone, but the pyramids are still there. Most of them, anyway. While anything that was put up can come down, tearing down 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons as those in the Great Pyramid of Khufu, is a pretty Herculean task. So, pyramids from Egypt to Asia and, of course, Central America even today fascinate the mind, some normal, some abnormal. And many of those abnormal minds believe some pretty amazing things about these huge, structurally stable constructions. These ahistorical, fabulous loonies include the likes of Erich von Däniken, author of The Ridiculous Chariots of the Gods. We'll do a segment on that soon because, believe it or not, I'm actually reading it.
Oh, no.
Oh my God, it's so fun. It is the most amazingly bad, terrific book. I can't recommend it enough. Also, Zecharia Sitchin, author of The War of Gods and Men, in which he insists there was a nuclear war 4,000 years ago, among many other true facts. And, of course, Edward Case, an American psychic, lovingly known as the Sleeping Prophet. These big brains are devotees of what has become known as pyramidology. Or, as the Skeptics Dictionary prefers to call them, pyramidiots. Pyramidology is to Egyptology and history what Scientology is to science, essentially the opposite of it. While pyramids are of interest to those the word defines, any other rational connection ends there. These big brains are quite certain that either higher beings from the long-lost continent of Atlantis, that's Atlantis again, or aliens from the 12th planet that orbits far beyond Pluto, and or both, and or a hybrid of each of those, helped the Egyptians, the Mayans, and the Aztecs build their radically different pyramids. They also believe that the sunken Atlantis acts as some kind of subaquatic backdoor between North Africa and the Yucatan Peninsula, allowing these two ancient peoples to share recipes for building big stone triangles. So that's
Fools!
neat.
It was Lemuria.
Not a mention of Lemuria in this one.
What the fuck?
I know. I was heartbroken. I'm homesick
You
for
can't
Lemuria.
build a pyramid without a lemur. I defy you to do it.
The long, skinny continent. So we could go on and on and on about all this poppycock, like how Central American and Egyptian pyramids served entirely different functions. But to spare your brains from bleeding like mine has in researching this blather, let's just apply the time-tested how-to-heretic rule of thumb when marveling at the wonders of the ancient world. It is as follows, and I quote me. Just because white people didn't build it doesn't mean aliens did. That's it. Feel better? I thought you would. We could really just stop there like as an entire podcast. But let's throw caution to the brisk Atlantean wind and dig a pointy hole into where all this pyramidology has led us, shall we? The father of modern pyramid derp was an eager proponent of another sort of derp we need to discuss at length, partly because it's very wound up in the founding of the Mormon magical worldview, and that derp is dowsing. Frenchman Antoine Bovis, I guess his name is, was a big believer in pendulum dowsing, essentially using a little iron plumb bob thingy to look for things hidden underground. Most commonly, the thing dowsers seek is water, but they also seek oil, valuable minerals, or, in the Mormons' case, ancient treasures from a civilization that never existed. More on that another time. But if you want a fun little primer on it, listen to our segment about the Mormon Dream Mine in episode number 75.
Yeah.
So,
I love the idea of using a plumb bob on a string to see if something is down below you. Like, it's kind of always going to point there, so you're doing all right.
You know what? He's never going to be wrong until you actually start digging.
Right.
But back to the French tetrahedron enthusiast Antoine Bovis. The vast majority of believers in the wonder-working power of pyramids, even today, insist that Bovis came up with the idea of pyramid power when he himself was standing in the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid of Khufu in Egypt and noticed garbage cans, yes, garbage cans full of small animals.
What?
That had wandered into the pyramid and apparently unable to find their way out, starved to death, I guess. Anyway, Bovis noted that these heaps of unnamed animals were perfectly preserved despite the desert heat, and boom, pyramidal pet preservation was a real and true thing. Therefore, ipso facto, super beings from Atlantis and limitless power for all mankind forever, obviously.
Well, doy.
Except, by his own admission, in a pamphlet Bovis himself wrote, he never went to Egypt. Marvel at the intellectual diligence of our pyramidologist friends, won't you? Rather, in his pamphlet, I've read it, it's online and very brief, both in length and facts, Bovis claims the Egyptians could only have oriented the Pyramid of Khufu so exactingly with the help of dowsing. Bovis, when the only tool you have is a dowsing rod, everything looks like a pyramid, I guess. So, Bovis, in his own translated words, I have supposed that Egyptians were already very good dowsers and had oriented their pyramid by means of rod and pendulum. Being unable to go there to experiment and verify the radiations of the Cheops pyramid, I have built with cardboard some pyramids that you can see now. And this is the next best thing to going to Egypt, right? And I was astonished when, having built a regular pyramid and oriented it, I found the positive at the east, the negative at the west, and at the north and south, dual positive and dual negative. Okay, so any electrical engineers out there, he's talking about the conductive properties of cardboard, but we'll leave that for another time.
Well, and that's good to know, because when the whole time you've been talking about orienting the pyramid, I thought you meant the miracle that put the pointy end on top.
Well, that was a lot of trial and error, Doug. Okay. That's a story for another time, but there was some really ugly moments getting there. So he continues, a new supposition. Since with the help of our positive 2,000-degree magnetic plates, we can mummify small animals, Could the pyramid have the same property? I tried it, and as you can observe, with the small fish and little piece of meat still hanging, I succeeded totally. Now, I've looked at the pamphlet, and whether or not he succeeded totally, we shall never know. He included no evidence whatsoever of his freeze-dried cat or beef jerky in his 4-page treatise, despite the year being 1930 and the scientific method being very much in existence at the time. We'll just have to take his silly French word for it. So,
But was there a picture?
no pictures of any kind. There was a picture of him. There's a picture of him sitting at a desk.
But no picture of the fish and the...
Or the pyramid.
No.
All right.
Well, and the other thing is, what would a picture of a fish do? He could have bought it that morning. Right?
Shut your fucking mouth. Are you calling him a liar?
He could have thrown it back in the lake afterwards, and it could have lived a normal life.
Oh, my God.
So, for some reason, Bovis's good word found its way to Eastern Europe, where a mysterious Czech radio engineer and paranormal enthusiast by the name of Karel Drabal took that word very seriously indeed. In 1949, Drabal submitted a patent application to the Czech patent office for his Pharaoh's shaving device, a little... This is so fucking crazy. I could literally just make this stuff up. I could literally...
I am not at all convinced you did.
You know what? One day I'm just going to make up some woo, and I'm not going to tell you. And you would have no idea. So
We're going to do that to each other.
Yeah. The Pharaoh's shaving device. A little cardboard pyramid with a little pedestal of waxed cardboard or cork inside. Drabal claimed that aligning a shaving razor just so inside this non-conductive craft project would keep the blade sharp for several hundred uses. It turns out there's an old European folk belief that aligning razor blades north-south when not in use or leaving them on a windowsill in the moonlight would keep them sharp. Is this true? Of course it's fucking not. What possible force is being brought to bear on the hardened steel edge of a razor by sunlight reflected off the distant moon? It's balderdash. So,
how dare you?
Somehow, Dan's got it in his bathroom. How dare you?
I've been sharpening with the moon for years.
So somehow Drabal's silly metaphysical sharpening box claims impressed two different budding authors and paranormal energy hobbyists. Both Max Toth and Patrick Flanagan were caught up in the fragrant tides of the Age of Aquarius. Important note, that's Age of Aquarius, not Rodney's Age of Aquariums off Route 21 just outside of Newark. Great deals there, but their procurement ethics are shady. Very, very shady. No, the Age of Aquarius was the magical Rumspringa of mounds of drugs, flower print shirts, and wild sex the baby boomers had before they all became Trump voters decades later. We know there's some fantastic boomer heretics out there. We love you guys. It's the rest of your generation that fucked it all up. So let's all hate them together.
Talk to them, will you?
Yes.
If you're listening to this, go talk to your other boomer friends. They need help.
Yeah. Your compatriots. So the other thing, as we've discussed, the Age of Aquarius is famous for is a blizzard of anti-scientific alternative explanations to pretty much anything. So out of the 60s poured every imaginable sort of crystalline, aura-peering, singing bowl, interplanetary, vibratory, third-eye ashrams in Taos, and dolphin energy high priestesses in Maui, with gongs attuned to the 12th planet, that give this podcast an endless supply of material every week. And among those wacky and, yes, even harmful woos was the junk pseudoscience of pyramid power. As we've seen, the idea's journey from non-existent garbage cans of preserved cats and terriers to a random post-war Czech patent application based on a folktale to the mainstream of American hippie culture is an improbable and weird one. And we have the competing authors, as I mentioned before, Max Toth, author of Pyramid Power, and Patrick Flanagan, author of a totally different other book called Pyramid Power, to thank for its mainstreaming in the credulous states of America. In a very un-peace and love move, Flanagan sued Toth over the book with the same name as his that came out the same year as his, because as we all know, copyrights are the one thing pyramids can't preserve. The difference in their twin books matter less than the similarity of their outlandish claims, which, to extend the twin metaphor just a bit, are identical. They claim that the pyramids sharpen blades, as discussed, preserve meat, fish, and for some reason dead cats forever, Sitting beneath a pyramid improves health, sex, and meditation. Food placed underneath a pyramid is more nutritious. Of course, I mean, this is obvious. Bad liquor turns to fine spirits after a week or so. And so think about that. And the Pyramid of Khufu is the most mathematically perfect building in the world. All absolute bullshit. I.M. Pei's glass pyramid in the courtyard of the Louvre in Paris is far more, quote, mathematically perfect, as is almost any structure using computer-aided design.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Is the massive Egyptian pyramid fucking amazing? Abso-fucking-lutely it is. Is it a, quote, mathematically perfect as any McDonald's built in the past 25 years? Well, no.
Nope.
Don't believe me? Believe the Mythbusters, who put the claim of pyramidologists to the test in episode 32, fabricating and aligning pyramids to the authors Toth and Flanagan's specifications and placing perishables inside, which rotted at exactly the expected rate and the same as things placed outside of them. Now, despite many disproofs of this mythic human-alien hybrid ancient magical power, like so much woo, it has persisted since its introduction. Recall, if you will, in episode 15 of this podcast, that blue ribbon loon Jay-Z Knight was experimenting with pyramid power when the ancient Lemurian warrior and her business partner Ramtha first appeared to her. And in episode 119, we reported on Corky Ra and his Egyptian flying saucer tantric sex mummification religion, a local prophet and First Amendment hero right there in our fair city of Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Well, he was so taken with the idea of pyramid power, his mummified body rests beneath one with a cool motorized door just a few blocks from my house.
Yes.
The owner of Summerhill Winery, right nearby me here in beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia, who looks exactly like, and in fact, might be Michael Caine in a Weird Al Yankovic wig, stores his Pinot Noir and Riesling ice wine in a giant pyramid, claiming, as he sits crisscross applesauce and barefoot, that the sacred geometry vibrates the Riesling atoms into the perfect biodynamic something. You can look up his videos, Summerhill Wine, Kelowna, British Columbia. I dare you to tell me that's not Michael Caine. Staying here in Canada, Pyramid Power made a notable appearance. In the 1970s, the Toronto Maple Leafs turned to Pyramid Power after losing the first games in a best-of-7 tournament. Then, oh my God, they won the next 2 games, you guys. It worked.
What?
It worked.
Amazing.
It worked right up until they lost Game 7. And thus the tournament. Oh, well, they must have had a Fritzy pyramid. But out of this pointy sea of perfectly preserved bullshit rose a hero. An unexpected hero, but a hero nonetheless.
Was his name Fritzy Pyramid?
No. I give you 1,000 years and you can never guess who this person is. But you know who it is.
Tipper Gore.
Who is close. Who is this champion of sanity and skepticism? Why, of course, it is the Grammy Award-nominated sound engineer of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon and man whose project, the Alan Parsons Project, is named after Alan Parsons. That's right. In the mind behind 1982's Billboard #3 chart topper, say it again, Mark, chart topper, Eye in the Sky, thought this pyramid hooey was just as ridiculous as your dear uncles do. Now, I shouldn't be surprised by the Eye in the Sky turning a jaundiced eye to pyramidology, since, as we know, Alan is a longtime listener and a fan of the show, or he probably is, or he ought to be. Please listen, Alan. Anyway,
Hi, Alan Parsons.
On 1978's album titled simply Pyramid, Alan Parsons and his project took a mocking tone to the pyramid power craze in their song Pyromania, spelled with a Y, Pyromania.
Right.
And while Alan graciously said I could play the song on the show, our attorney Andrew said I could not. So here are the delightful lyrics, and I'm quite serious, as voiced by me. There are pyramids in my head. There's one underneath my bed. And my lady's getting cranky. Every possible location has a simple explanation, and it isn't hanky-panky. I have read somewhere in a book, they improve all your food and your wine. It said that everything you grow in your garden will grow pretty fine. Instead, all I ever get is a pain in the neck and yap, 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 yap. I've consulted all the sages I could find in the yellow pages, but there aren't many of them. and the Mayan panoramas on my pyramid pajamas haven't helped my little problem. I've been told someone in the know can be sure that his luck is as good as gold. Money in the bank, and you don't even have to pay for it if you fold. $1 in the shape of the pyramid that's printed on the back. It's no lie. You can keep the edge of a razor as sharp as an eagle's eye. You can grow a hedge that is vertically straight over 10 feet high. All you really... 70s progressive rock was extremely strange. All you really need is a pyramid and just a little luck. I have read somewhere in a book. They improve all your food and wine, and I've been told someone in the know can be sure of his good luck, and it's no lie. All you really need is a little bit of pyramidic help.
Whoa.
And scene. So...
That's amazing.
What Alan and the projects are telling us here via their musical stylings is that pyramids won't save your banana, turn your hooch to shivas, nor make your beloved cat a wonderful bookend for decades to come. The end.
Huh.
Wow. Well, it's not the end because you haven't told me whether I should go with the Toth or the Flanagan for my research.
I have to know.
What's the good one?
Well, I'll have you. I'll give you that answer shortly because I ordered both those books. Again, you should see what I click on Amazon. You should see what is suggested to me. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like Doug said the other day that Amazon thinks he's a woke Nazi.
Do you, Uncle Mark, do you remember our mother bought that series of books from like Time Life? They were like, Mysteries of the Unknown or something like that. It was like a series
vaguely.
of books.
Yeah.
And one of them was pyramids.
Oh, no.
And it was, I would give almost anything to get that series of books if it still exists somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure I could find it in 5 minutes.
But one of them was about pyramids. I remember I read it. And it was, planes won't fly over pyramids, and all that fucking. And I was probably 12, and I believed in the Book of Mormon, so why the fuck not?
Right.
Yeah, totally.
At that point, you're primed
Garbage
to
in,
believe
garbage out.
whatever.
And I'm looking at the picture of Stephen Sipes of the winery,
Yes.
and that is absolutely Michael Caine in a Weird Al.
Yeah, it's not even a guy that looks like him. It's Michael Caine.
Yeah, it's absolutely Michael Caine in a Weird Al Yankovic.
We blew the poor man's cover. This poor celebrity is just trying to make some wine in rural British Columbia, and we blew it all up for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. At
At least we did something today.
That's our skepticism at work, everybody.
Well, take care, and let's move on.
Indeed.
Well, Uncle Doug,
To who?
at the call of the lesser owl, we know that it is time.
The greater owl says, to whom?
Yes, the greater owl knows better. The greater owl had a classical education at Cambridge. But at the call of the lesser owl, we know it is time to talk about all things Catholic. And there's really nothing that gives me greater joy, as you know if you listen to the Holy Prepuce.
Yeah.
And Dan, I think you have delved into the murky, germ-filled holy waters of Catholicism this week, have you not?
I have indeed, although it also applies to other parts of Christianity because saints are revered throughout Christendom. Mm-hmm. Or the Orthodoxy people, they like the saints,
But shunned by the Protestants.
Well,
Shunned.
no, some of the Protestants are still into saints. It's a very interesting thing.
Are they? I didn't know that.
Yes, they can. But because, yes, Uncle Mark, you stole the best Catholic nastiness. I did find some disgusting for us all. So here we go. It's not what you think.
All right.
This week's saint came into my life this week when Frank over on Thank God I'm Atheist did a story about Jägermeister. By the way, if you haven't checked out Thank God I'm Atheist, I can't recommend it enough. Those guys are so funny and smart.
Yeah,
and,
they're okay. They're okay. I mean, I think time will tell.
I mean, you've been on that show, right, Mark?
A couple times.
Every once in a while, they have one of us, Uncle Mark or I, on, and we'll make sure to let you guys know which episodes those are.
Right.
Yeah.
They've had me on a time or two as well. Anyway, so Jägermeister, yes, that German herbal digestive liqueur that tastes like you're drinking a liquefied Ricola cough drop through a black licorice straw. Only, much worse than that.
Exactly.
Anyway, Frank's story was about a Swiss court ruling that the Jägermeister logo was old enough that the Christian iconography on it was unlikely to offend anybody. When it started showing up on blankets and shower curtains and skateboards and notebooks and basically anything your little heart could desire. For more information, go to howtoheretic.com and click on Heretique.
Exactly.
You won't find any Jägermeister stuff, but you'll totally get the idea. And you'll find so many cool things to buy.
You can find
really can't
things
lose.
you can wear while you're drinking Jägermeister.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Spill your Jägermeister and then sop it up with a How to Heretic towel. Why not? Anyway, the Jaeger logo at issue in Switzerland is a nod to the company's founder's favorite hobby. He was an avid hunter at the beginning of the 20th century, you see, and his disgusting tonic was meant to be a nice elixir for after a good day of Bambi murdering. The word Jägermeister is just German for master hunter or hunt master or something like that. And the logo is a stag's head with a glowing cross between his majestic antlers. Why
That's
a cross?
right. Yeah.
You ask?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen it
Yep.
on your many Jaeger binges that you like to go
You know
on.
me and the Yagi.
It's been the first thing I saw in the morning a couple times.
Do you like Jägermeister?
God, no.
Fuck.
Okay.
Nope.
I mean, look, lots of people like it, and they should all be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
Anyway, why a cross, you ask? Well, this goes back to the story of St. Hubert, or St. Eustace. And here we are, back for another game of Whose Hagiography Is It? That wacky game show where we look at the story of two saints and realize that, oh, they're just recycling exactly the same plot points because back in medieval times and before, most of the doofuses believing this stuff couldn't read anyway, so they had no way of knowing who was cribbing off of whose homework.
Yeah. There's only so many stories, really.
Yeah, it's true. By the way, just as a quick side note, I am going to be saying a lot of names in this thing, and I am going to pronounce them the way I want to. Maybe it's the English pronunciation. Maybe I'll try the French. I don't care. I'm just going to have fun with it. So, Saint Hubert is also St. Hubert or St. Hubertus, and just get over it. We'll just have some fun.
Yeah.
St. Eustace came first, though. Having been born sometime in the 1st century CE, he started life as a Roman dude named Placidus, who served as a general in Emperor Trajan's army. St. Hubert was born in the mid-600s in or around Toulouse, in what is now France, and was the son of Bertrand, Duke of the Aquitaine. He married, became a popular courtier in the court of
Is French a race? Are we okay? No, it's a nationality.
It's a race to surrender.
If it's a race,
No. That's
Hey-o.
that just got ugly. All right.
he was a courtier in the court of Theodoric III.
Yeah.
Where he became Count of the Palace, and later was named Grand Master of the Household for Pepin of Herstal. I don't really know what any of that means, but I'm pretty sure it indicates that he had a promising career ahead of him as a, rich guy.
Yeah.
Then he married the lovely Floriban, daughter of Dragobert, who was the Count of Leuven, that lucky fellow. I'm not making any of that up yet.
See, you could exactly.
Floriban eventually became great with child, and everything seemed set to be a great story with a bunch of weird names. Hubert and Floriban even apparently decided to combine their names for their kid and name him Floribert. See? The Merovingian kingdoms weren't so different from the Mormons here in Utah, right? Well, things went wrong for old Hubert. Floriband died trying to pop out baby Floribert, and everything. And even though the kid survived, Hubert fell into a great depression. Pretty much the only thing that could lift old Hubie's spirits was a good hunt. And here's where Hubert's story and Eustace's story become basically the same. One Good Friday morning, Hubert skipped church to go out a-hunting. Again, just like the Mormons.
Yeah.
He came upon a big old buck, perfectly in range of his bow. Silently, he drew an arrow from his quiver, placed the nock on the bowstring, drew back the string, and froze. Because just then, that noble heart turned to him, and between his antlers was a glowing cross. Ooh. Now, in Eustace's case, a stag with a glowing cross, or possibly crucifix with the little G.I. Jesus hanging on it, was enough to turn him Christian forever. Then he had a whole Trials of Job experience where within a short amount of time, all his wealth was stolen, his servants all died of plague, a ship captain kidnapped his wife, Theopista, and his two sons, Agapius and Theopistus, were taken in the same incident at the same moment by a wolf and a lion, respectively.
What? Where the fuck would that happen?
Shut your fucking mouth. That's where.
Oh, I remember that place. Yes.
Yeah. It was somewhere in or around Rome. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of shit went down in Rome. We know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Eustace was, sad. But he held firm to his antler-based faith and thus proved his holiness. Then he was reunited with his family, had all his wealth and power restored to him. Yay!
Yay.
But you don't get sainthood just for being good. So the story throws in that Emperor Hadrian got pissed when Eustace refused to do a pagan sacrifice and burned his whole family to death inside the bronze statue.
Wow, what a case of the Mondays.
Right?
Yeah.
Win some, lose some, I guess.
Yeah.
It's,
God sure knows how to reward those that have faith in him.
Right?
Is the moral of the story.
It's a really great story. It's heartwarming is really what it is. Hubert, on the other hand, wasn't done with his Patronus experience. His glowing cross-antlered deer walked over to him and scolded him for being a bad boy. He told him that unless he turned his life around and devoted himself to much more Jesus-y stuff, he was going to be sent straight to hell. Well, this was a pretty powerful moment, as you can imagine. Hubert was so overcome that he accidentally loosened his grip, and his bowstring shot that arrow straight between the eyes of the stag, killing it and opening its skull, thus released 100,000 demons into the world. They flew about, haunting and tempting the local magistrates until all of France was ensconced in madness. Wars broke out, brother fighting against brother, otherwise peaceful people murdering each other left and right. The kingdoms descended into madness.
All right, I'm a vegan.
Just kidding. None of that happened. That would have been a good story, though, right?
Yes, a much better story.
No, that didn't happen. What also didn't happen, but because all of this is bullshit, but is said to have actually happened, was that Hubert fell to his knees and said, "What should I do?" To which the stag said, "You will go to the Dagobah system. There you will seek out Yoda." No, kidding again. The stag actually told him to go to Maastricht in the Netherlands and seek out Lambert. But same basic concept. Lambert was to guide him in the ways of Jesus. Excuse me. Hubert was very grateful for this and thanked the deer. The deer gracefully nodded, and Hubert rose and mounted his horse. And then the deer, having delivered God's message, decided that, since he had the power of speech and all, he'd deliver a message of his own. And another thing, God wanted me to tell you some new rules about hunting, said the deer, and then spent the next hour and a half lecturing Hubert about about being more respectful to animals, and established a whole system of rules about not killing does who had littles, because then who would take care of them? Oh, and you can only take a shot if you're pretty damn sure it'll be a quick, clean kill. And don't be a dick. Kill older stags after they've passed their mating prime, and on and on and on. You have a whole bunch of rules.
Wow.
And that actually now is used in places like Germany as sort of the sort of standard for how you're supposed to hunt.
Really?
Well,
or at least it was for the inventor of Jägermeister, which I found interesting.
The Trump children did not get that message, by the way.
No. Well, they didn't. They were hunting the wrong things. Only deer will tell you that. If you see a rhinoceros with a cross between his horns, you just shoot it.
I think if Don Jr. and Eric ever get within shooting distance of a deer, they're going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, exactly. The deer turns around and is like, I have a message for you. Bam!
Yeah.
All right. So Hubie went on to become the Bishop of Maastricht. Oh, wait. Before that, he went away from the meeting with the deer, feeling super pumped about Jesus, and since hunting was basically ruined now, he headed to the Netherlands, leaving his little son with his brother Odo, who also got to have his birthright, which is pretty cool. And then he went on to become the Duke of Aquitaine. So, Odo wasn't exactly trying to talk Hubert out of his new hobby.
Right.
Hubie went on to become the Bishop of Maastricht, and then the Bishop of Liège, which was a small village at the time, but has now grown to become a thriving Belgian metropolis with waffle-making Walloons everywhere you look.
How about that?
Speaking of food, Jägermeister isn't the only culinary connection to Hubert.
No. Is that where we get Camembert?
No. Don't be an idiot.
Boo.
Oh, you hate cheese. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Now I know you. Great.
No, this is a connection for our people. The people of the Great White North, eh?
Oh, mayonnaise?
Oh, eh?
Saint-Hubert is a brand up in Canada, and their sauce, one of their gravies that you can get in the can or get a package mix of, is what is traditionally used for poutine.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, la poutine.
So, please enjoy your French fries and cheese with a delightful Saint-Hubert sauce.
And a giant glass of warm Jägermeister.
And a huge old glass.
Of licorice poison. Do you know, can I tell, I've probably spent about 3 years-ish now in Canada. Do you know how many times I've eaten poutine here?
How many?
Once.
What's the matter with you?
I don't know. It's not.
Have you
It's
spent
not a
any time
low-calorie meal.
Well, that it is not.
No. You need to be in Eastern Canada for the good stuff, though. No offense to the Western Canadians, but I think we all know that it's Quebec where the good stuff is.
That's right. It's quite popular in Ontario as well, and I've spent a lot of time there. But I just I don't know. I try to eat a little better. My age.
Well, that's just insane because a really good poutine, and my mom lives in Ottawa. I know where the good poutine is there. Mm-hmm. It is heaven. They do the fries up right. They do everything right, and it's not just fries and gravy and cheese. It is the right kind of fries with the right kind of cheese, and that's Saint Hubert sauce.
In Belgium, there is a cathedral that's dedicated to that moment where he saw the stag. I've been to that cathedral.
Oh, interesting.
And I didn't know the story. So I just sat there thinking, these people really love their Jägermeister. Or Jägermeister is sponsoring a cathedral.
Right. Yeah. That was actually the case. That is true. The other thing about St. Hubert it's interesting is that he is credited with inventing not a cure for rabies, but a prophylactic if you get bit by what is presumed to be a rabid animal. They call it St. Hubert's key, which is like you take a nail or something metal and you get it super duper hot, and then you burn out the spot at which you were bit. And it actually can work. It can actually kill the virus. They thought it was doing something else, but it can.
It's what I did both times. Yeah.
And now you're only half rabid. Only when there's a full moon.
I'm rabbish.
Yes,
Which half?
You don't want to know.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. I'm hungry for some poutine and some Jägi, which I've never craved before in my life, and I'm lying about it now.
So there you go. You've got that dopey Walloon to thank for it all. So voila, that's it. Shall we move on?
Let's move on.
Bottoms up.
Boys.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Buckle in. Because more people have signed up to give us money, which is the best thing that any human being can do.
Yes. That's so amazing.
It's the American way.
And look what those dollars are doing.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, Satan. We're bringing Satan to Utah. Based in part on the generous giving of folks
That's right.
from around the world and some people that we need to thank. So I am going to start to do just that. Thanks to Right Reverend Jim Bob Hammer, BS Theology. Emphasis on the BS, I guess.
He tweeted us. He tweeted us a picture of his How to Heretic mug, his merch.
Oh.
Well done, Reverend Bob.
Look
Jim
at us
Bob.
go.
Sonia is Sonia. Well, you, Sonia, get a saint, and that will be improvised for you as we speak right now by Uncle Doug.
Okay, Sonia. It's an Eastern European sounding name. So your patron saint is Saint Boris the Wise.
Yeah.
Of the Belarusian archipelago.
Belarusian archipelago. Is there one?
Well, there is now.
There was when Boris was alive.
Saint Boris is the patron saint of vodka that is distilled from both potatoes and beets. He is the patron saint of mystery theater dinners that end up in actual fatalities. And the luge.
Great.
And the luge. Yes, excellent.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
We also owe a saint to Craven, who is
or is it
coming in.
Craven? Is it Craven with two? I don't know. Craven.
How dare you question my pronunciation?
Dare you?
And just for that, you have to give Craven a saint. Uncle
Well,
Mark.
you get used to that. So, Craven. Your saint is, of course, Saint Pelicano of Fishguard, and which is a beautiful port town in northern Wales. Who is the patron saint of Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio? Just because I love saying that name. Control Top Hosiery, and any rye breads with seeds.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
That'll serve you well, Craven. I have to do a saint now for Jake. Sorry you got the bad uncle, Jake, but your saint is Saint Rocky of Bullwinkle, who is the patron saint of push broom mustaches, of large sea vessels with overlong flags attached, and the patron saint of friendly rodents.
How about that?
No matter what the size.
No matter what the size, it doesn't matter. They're friendly. So that's great for you, Jake. And
yeah, for sure.
Also, we need to give Elsa a girlfriend. I hope she gets one.
I'd suggest going down to BYU.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. We're about to cover that. It's going to be great.
And we owe a saint, actually, to Jason. So, Uncle Doug, why don't you throw another one out for Jason?
Oh, my God. My well runneth dry. Okay. Your saint is Jason, right?
Yeah.
All right. Another generic white guy name. Your saint is Saint Chad of Tristan da Cunha, the remote island. It's the patron saint of lost albatrosses, short chairs at tall tables,
Okay.
and hard to reach blisters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll pray to that saint, Jason, for that.
Yeah.
And we are not done yet.
Oh, my God.
Jesus, Lord in heaven.
Gird your loins, Uncle Mark, because you need to present a heaven to Jesse.
Jesse, this is a special day for any Jesse of any stripe, and I think you'll agree by the end of of this introduction to your great hereafter. So, Jesse, you know how when you were 12 and got that new Sony Discman for your birthday, along with those killer fresh Reeboks, you felt like hot shit, and why wouldn't you? You were hot shit, still are, if I'm being totally candid here, and best of all, you got the most prized CD of that super hot summer, Right Said Fred's smash debut album, Up, featuring the toe-tapping, booty-shaking single, I'm Too Sexy. Remember, you nearly wore that track out as you shook your acid-washed ass up and down the aisles of Blockbuster Video, Circuit City, and insert name of local water park here, that magical summer. And you may not remember it now, but think back a bit. Do you remember the evening of August 3rd, 1991? It was a beautiful,
Who could
sultry
forget?
summer Saturday. You climbed up on the roof of the garage to listen to your favorite track of all time, Right Said Fred's I'm Too Sexy, and watch the sunset over insert name of local geographical feature here. Do you remember that moment? Well, I do. In that moment, you dreamt you could hang out with the guys from Right Said Fred, brothers Fred and Richard Fairbrass, and ask them how they came up with that masterwork. You wanted to know everything you could about the process, the genius, the minds that could manifest such a catchy, danceable, sexy, sorry, you were 12, sexy phenomenon into the world. Well, Jesse, the fates and I heard you. Cinderella tried to warn you that a dream is a wish your heart makes. And as any Mormon bishop will tell you, Jesse, one's eternal destination is determined by just this sort of pre-adolescent moment of careless desire. And because this wish your heart made is the one it made most sincerely over the course of your mortal probation, your heaven, dear Jesse, is called What Right Said Fred Said, an eternal conversation with Jesse and Fred and Richard Fairbrass of Right Said Fred, the band. It's a long name, but it's also a long, long time. You'll find, after this life of pain is over, this veil of tears you pass through, you'll find your perfected, once again 12-year-old self sitting on a Persian rug in the Fairbrass Brothers' dope London studio, across from the legends of your youth. A sweet Moroccan-style repast spread before you on brass plates and goblets full of nectar. So rock and roll. And the guys are there just for you. Got questions, kid? Ask away. Okay. Whose idea was it in the first place? Why did you guys decide to rip the shirt off like that? Whose cool convertible was that? Do you have a whole day to shoot the video, or was it just over an hour? Was that a real catwalk in the video, or did you make that yourself? What does poor pussy cat mean? Do you guys have cats for real? Ever charming and indulgent, Fred and Richard smile and laugh good-naturedly, very much their brand, and answer your every question in detail. Delirious with excitement, your 12-year-old self continues. You guys say you wrote this as a send-up of the male models who worked out in the London gym you owned. So, is this a satirical take on the various modes of posturing masculinity in a postmodern context, or more of a semi-comedic indictment of the modalities of late-stage consumer capitalism that cause men specifically in this case to modify their very bodies in order to engender a typically unattainable standard for commercial purposes? And follow-up question, does this derive from a Kantian sort of ethos about the intention of action versus outcome? Also, given the general zeitgeist of British culture at large in the early 1990s, what is the cultural significance of using the Yiddish word tush as a sexual signifier, given the rather liberal stance of John Major's conservative majority to the Israeli question? Richard and Fred are only too happy to help deconstruct their greatest hit with you over mint tea and roasted figs. Even when you drill down into the menagerie of possible subconscious Freudian symbolism in the robust leitmotif of the self-stated sexiness of the protagonist of the narrative, and even when you challenge their construction of what Joseph Campbell would surely call the hero's journey of the model from shirt to shirtless, from catwalk to indifference at a party, from pet owner to existentialist, Hamlet-style poseur in a post-industrial world he is only beginning to realize he barely understands. And this is just day one of your endless, eternal journey, together with Richard and Fred Fairbrass, forever and ever and ever. May the conversation continue to sparkle and fulfill that earnest dream you made atop the garage so long ago, Jesse, in this funky, heavily drum-sampled heaven from which there is no respite and no reprieve. Enjoy.
Oh, Jesse, I wish you had liked a different song.
Yeah. Be careful what you wish for, kids.
You're too sexy for this heaven. Too sexy for this heaven.
You know, I was listening. It's actually a really fun song. Sorry, I was just listening to do this. It's pretty great.
I'll bet you were.
I'll bet you were. All right.
I
I hope we're all happy about all of that. And with that being said, hey, if you want to be a part of this, if you want to be in on the action, if you want to hear the super secret side recordings that we do,
patron-only content,
just for our patrons,
backstage pass,
the best
the
thing
Right
to do.
Said Fred after party.
That's right. You can go to howtoheretic.com, click on the Patreon, the link that gets you to Patreon. You sign up. It's super easy. You decide how much you want to give us, and then you get all the perks and the props, and we get all the money. So that's a great thing. Otherwise, please feel free to give us 5 stars on anything that you want to.
5 or die, bitches.
Yep.
And let's move on.
Let's move on. You know, Uncle Dan.
Yes.
It is said...
I do know Uncle Dan. He's a handsome devil of a man.
What a handsome devil. I'm told, and in fact I firmly believe, that without rules, it is madness. It is chaos. There's nothing.
It's what they say.
Yeah. And I think as we grow older and mature, the more rules, the better.
Well, do you know who's really, really, really good at rules?
Who?
White men in suits.
Yep.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And the more of them you can find, the more rules you'll get.
And the rules almost always pertain to people who are not them.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's how God's ordained it, fellas.
That's right. And speaking of God ordaining, boy, God ordained the shit out of a bunch of white men in suits here in this Utah place.
Yes, he did. And well, you know, Uncle's, many is the time that we've endeavored not to talk about the predominant local faith that we were subjected to as children and focus on silly stories from the many other crazy religions around the world and through history. It seems, though, that every few weeks, some white nonagenarian from rural Utah climbs to the top of the temple, drops his pants, waggles his shriveled junk at the world, and screams, "I'm the birdie! I'm the freaking birdie!" Such was the case this last week when the church formerly known as Mormon quietly made some internal policy changes that clearly against their intentions made the news.
They keep trying to do that.
They keep trying to do this.
Now, why do they think it's going to work? Every fucking time they do this.
Yep, every time.
Yeah.
And like every other time the church tweaks its official documents, it only serves to remind us all that the terrible and dangerous landmines were in there the entire time.
Well, and what's funny is that they never what they like to do, because the whole goal here is don't look quite as bad as we look,
Yeah.
but be as bad as we are.
Right.
So they keep trying to do a thing, and then it, like you say, it points out how bad what they were doing before was. And then when everybody goes, "Hey, a little clarification, are you not as bad as you were?" They go, "Oh no, we're the same."
Yep, we're just as bad as you think we are. So the changes in this last week were 2 extremely internal documents, not at all meant for general consumption. One is the General Handbook, which lays out how the rubber should meet the road when trying to make a first-century philosophy, as interpreted by an unlettered Letcher in 1830, work in a global community in 2020. And the second was a change to the Honor Code for the Church Education System, or CES, that this is the code of conduct that all students attending the several church-owned universities must sign and are subsequently held to.
Including, that was your former place of...
I was only at BYU for a year, but I was there.
Yeah.
So somewhere in an archive is a honor code with my signature on it.
It says Uncle Doug.
That's right. So I want to spend today talking about the second set of changes, which were the honor code changes. Pardon me. And Dan, I know you and Frank spent some time on this on your show this last week.
You mean Thank God I'm Atheist?
Thank God I'm Atheist, and you guys did a much better job than I'm going to do.
No, we didn't.
But before we dive in, let's just review the changes to the General Handbook because they're worth mentioning. For those of you out there listening to this who have been through a disciplinary process in the Mormon Church, you can attest that it is incredibly draconian, humiliating, and intimidating.
Disciplinary process sounds sexy, but I don't think that's how it's meant.
It's definitely not meant to be sexy.
Okay, fine.
And of course, it was always meant to be vindictive. That was the point. But as the church continues to bleed members, they are forced to find ways to make being a Mormon less and less of a bummer.
Now, by vindictive, do you mean loving? Because that's what they told me.
Yes, sure. This is going to hurt you more than it hurts me. One of the major changes is to soften the process and language regarding church discipline. Without going into too much detail, the 2 main punishments that the Mormon patriarchy can dole out on its members are disfellowship and the far harsher excommunication. Before we spend the
far harsher and far more beneficial.
Yes, in the long run. So those 2 terms have been jettisoned. And in an act of brazen corporate linguistic jujitsu so naked that Mitt Romney will have to have his priapism amputated. They replaced disfellowship with, quote, formal membership restrictions and excommunication with, quote, withdrawal of church membership. So that's nice.
Boy, they fixed it.
Yeah, right.
Yes, the policy via thesaurus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other far more problematic changes are regarding transgender members. So the church has finally decided that it must address this issue, and has done so with exactly the expected ignorance and tone deafness you would expect from a corporate board made up of religious bigots. So are you ready for this?
Nope.
Nope.
Transgender persons may be baptized and receive the sacrament, but priesthood and temple ordinances will be based on the birth sex. Furthermore, if members elect to have medical or surgical intervention to transition, and forgive me, everyone that's being triggered by this is their language.
Yeah.
Elect to have medical or surgical intervention to transitions to the opposite sex, or members who socially transition, that is, by dressing as their gender identity or changing their names or pronouns, will experience, quote, some church membership restrictions. So, yeah, I mean, whenever you have a group of men finding themselves trying to officially define down someone else's identity, there be dragons.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, I understand these guys are in a tough position because what if a girl who was born a girl suddenly decides that she gets to be a man now, and then they have to give her the priesthood?
Dun, dun, dun.
What if that happened?
Then what?
She might.
Then
She
what?
would wear pants at church.
Yeah.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah, and believe me, these old men are sitting around a conference table discussing this issue.
Right.
So, all right, let's talk about the other changes that hit the wires this week, because the transgender ones are just too upsetting.
Yeah.
Which was the surprising omission from the CES honor code at BYU and the other church-owned schools in Utah, Idaho, and Hawaii. So let's talk about the honor code itself first.
Yeah.
The fact that BYU has an honor code should hardly be surprising. In fact, most schools, especially religious ones, have some form of honor code or code of conduct that you have to adhere to. That's not terribly surprising. It's just that the Mormon one seems to be frozen in amber from a very different time. So, for example, here are the grooming standards for men and women.
Now, by the way, I will note that the very different time is not like ancient, because none of the early prophets of the church could go could attend this school.
That's exactly
They
right.
all had long beards and long hair and whatever.
Yeah.
You're about to tell us why that won't work.
And why the statue of Brigham Young on campus doesn't have a beard. Anyway, so this is the grooming standards for men. Quote, men, a clean and well-cared-for appearance should be maintained. Clothing is inappropriate when it is sleeveless, revealing, or form-fitting. Shorts must be knee-length or longer. Hairstyles should be clean and neat. Avoid extremes of styles and colors. And trimmed above the collar, leaving the ear uncovered. Sideburns should not extend below the earlobe or onto the cheek. If worn, mustaches should be neatly trimmed and may not extend beyond or below the corners of the mouth. Men are expected to be clean-shaven. Beards are not acceptable. Shoes should be worn in all public campus areas. Okay?
So there.
Now, here's the code for women. There are a few subtle differences.
Just says C:"Stepford.
What you should have done, Doug, is probably not said which was for men and which was for women, and then just really see if anybody could guess.
Exactly.
It's tricky. It's tricky.
All right. For women, a clean and well cared for appearance should be maintained. Clothing is inappropriate when it is sleeveless, strapless, backless, or revealing. Has slits above the knee or is form-fitting. Dresses, skirts, and shorts must be knee length or longer. Hairstyles should be clean and neat, avoiding extremes in styles and colors. Excessive ear piercing, more than one per ear, and all other body piercing are not acceptable. Shoes should be worn in public and campus areas. So
there you go.
and that's the code.
By the way, that points to why Jesus couldn't attend, because even if he cut his hair and shaved his beard,
Still barefoot.
multiple piercings.
Oh,
Boom, baby.
Yeah.
so this code is granular. It spells out, rules for whether, who can be in the dorm room or dorm lobby of the opposite sex, rules for dating, prescriptions on coffee, alcohol, pornography, and of course, homosexuality. The punishment for violating the honor code, it was and is harsh, and in many cases results in expulsion. And just a reminder how devastating being expelled is for a young Mormon. Firstly, you are forced to tell your family what it was that got you expelled, which, if it's homosexual behavior, means having to come out to them while all your belongings just happen to be packed into boxes already.
Yeah.
You could just claim that you drank a Coke.
Secondly, if one remains a Mormon, being expelled from BYU is a stigma that will follow you for the rest of your life. There are just a couple of reasons that a disproportionate number of BYU students choose suicide over expulsion, but they are not the only reasons.
Yeah.
And students are encouraged to narc on each other. If you see a dorm room door closed when it's not supposed to be, or God forbid, two girls in the library looking into each other's eyes for too long, you are expressly expected to report it.
Yeah.
This culture, at least when I was there, and this has been confirmed by people I know who much more recently come out of BYU, led to young Mormons literally peeking into apartment windows and writing down license plate numbers of cars that shouldn't have been parked there overnight.
In point of order, you don't report it. You just refer them.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a referral.
Exactly.
It's an act of love. It's an act of love. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was never on the business end of a visit from campus police, but I was witness to several, and they were terrifying. And even just a visit could be enough to mark a student as undesirable.
Wait, campus police?
Campus police.
So if there's an honor code violation, the police come?
Yeah.
The armed police.
I can't speak to... I saw armed police go knock on a dorm door.
Yeah.
And they weren't like, girded for battle. They were just the police that had a sidearm. Nevertheless. So I can't speak to, what form they take when they show up, but they're the ones who, if that dorm room door is closed, or you think there might be someone spending the night at a campus housing unit, that's who shows up. Yeah. Campus police.
And they have actually worked really hard. These are actually state police. They are hired by the state.
Yeah.
And yet, somehow, it's weird because in this state, you wouldn't think that this was possible, but somehow they've managed to close their records.
Yeah.
The on-campus BYU police, and there have been filings to try and get their records because they have been sneaky little shits.
Yeah.
And the honor code really, really fucks some things up. There's been a lot of reporting lately about women who reported a rape, and then they got disciplined by the honor code because they were raped.
They reported a rape to the civil police in the town, right? And then the civil police reported it to the campus.
Right,
because they're like, well, rape means you're a bad, dirty girl.
What were you wearing?
Right, and then they get expelled for being raped.
Were you in the wrong place at the wrong time with this boy?
That's right.
Did you bring it on yourself then? We have these rules.
Yep.
And
so this honor code is problematic in a lot of fucking ways.
Yeah.
So it was a huge surprise this last week to see photos all over Mormon Twitter of same-sex couples kissing openly on the campus of BYU, and directly in front of the famous statue of Brigham Young, the beardless one. So the reason is, it turns out that when the church released the updated version of the honor code this last week, there was a significant omission. In previous editions, including the one that was still active in 2020, under the section titled Homosexual Behavior was the following language, quote, Brigham Young University will respond to homosexual behavior rather than to feelings or attraction, and welcomes as full members to the university community all those whose behavior meets university standards. So put a pin in that for a second. Even that was an amazing concession from the Mormon Church.
Yeah.
That you can have same-sex attraction as long as you don't do anything about it.
Right.
Right.
And that was their big, huge moment when they rolled that one out.
Now, for problems we'll discuss here in a second, that alone is very problematic.
Oh, of course.
Right? So let's go back to the text.
But boy, were they proud.
Yes. Quote, members of the university community can remain in good honor code standing if they conduct their lives in a manner consistent with gospel principles and the honor code. And one more paragraph. One stated same-gender attraction is not an honor code issue. However, the honor code requires all members of the university community to manifest a strict commitment to the law of chastity. Homosexual behavior is inappropriate and violates the honor code. Homosexual behavior includes not only sexual relations between members of the same sex, but all forms of physical intimacy that give expression to homosexual feelings. End quote.
So to paraphrase Sacha Baron Cohen as Bruno, so I can be attracted to some guy's penis in the shower, but the minute I put it in my mouth, I've crossed some sort of line.
That's basically it. So, again, removing this language is a good thing. It is a positive thing. but it also serves as a reminder that this language was in the honor code until this last week and does nothing to address the wreckage that language caused lo these many decades.
Sure.
So let's just look at those last two sentences for a second. Quote, homosexual behavior is inappropriate and violates the honor code. Homosexual behavior includes not only sexual relations between members of the same sex, but all forms of physical intimacy that give expression to homosexual feelings. That is a statement so perfectly calibrated to drive teens towards suicide that it should be prosecuted. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, you could drive a wooden submarine through that too. I mean, it's so broadly written. Like, who decides that? Who decides all things that lead to? It's crazy. Like it feels like there's specificity in there, but there's not. It's just open completely to the interpretation of whatever BYU mall cop is sent to deal with it.
Yeah. I'm sympathetic in that they have to craft it in such a way that if someone is reported and has to come in, they have to tell the whole story in seedy detail. Because if you don't craft it that way, what are you going to jerk off to later?
That's true.
Yeah.
I ask myself that almost every day.
Yeah.
So the thing about this whole construction of this language is that homosexuality is just a set of feelings that can be overcome.
Right.
You can do this. You can stamp this out. And even just holding someone's hand or looking into their eyes gives expression to homosexual feelings and is a violation. I'm glad this language is gone.
Yes.
But it does nothing for the sin of it existing in the first place. So
right.
Well, it's just so funny because they keep inching their way in a single direction.
Yes.
Because every time they try to, and of course they'll try to walk this back.
And they already kind of
they
have.
already have, and then they walked it forward again, and then because they're terrified, but they know that the society at large does, like, they have members who have loved ones who are gay.
Many.
And they're hemorrhaging members as they are, as these loved ones are asked to shun their favorite nephew or their son or their daughter or whatever. And so it's like they're trying to figure it out, but they're far too old to actually go all the way to decent person stuff.
Well, and here's the thing: if where you're going to end up, Mormon Church, is allowing same-sex marriage, fucking do it. Like, people are dying where you hem and you haw over this fucking issue. Either just say no, fuck you, we're never getting there, or fuck it, it's allowed. But in the meantime, you're just causing damage. So the church seems to have been caught a little bit by surprise to this reaction. So they released a tweet that reads, quote, "The Honor Code Office will handle questions that arise on a case-by-case basis. Mm-hmm. For example, since dating means different things to different people, the Honor Code Office will work with students individually," end quote. Well, that's reassuring.
Right?
Yeah, again, it's just completely broad. There's no actual framework for, here's what's acceptable, here's what's not. It's like, it's an oracle. We'll decide.
Right.
Exactly.
If you go on a homosexual date to the dairy, the BYU dairy, and get an ice cream cone, that's okay. But if you go roller skating and hold hands, well, maybe we have to reconsider.
Exactly. And I mean, is this police state apparatus going to be watching to see when, they are eating the same spaghetti noodle all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I'm glad it's gone. I'm glad this language is gone. I have been a skeptic that the church is moving in this direction truly for a long time, and I remain so.
Yeah.
If I were a gay student on the campus of BYU, I would still be very scared.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, the theory now, and I was reading a report from, I guess he's the president of Affirmation, which is a gay and lesbian, an LGBTQ Mormon organization for people in and out of the church, but who are connected to the church.
Yeah.
And apparently he went and tried to get clarification, and they told him that, if two boys were kissing on campus and they were reported by somebody else, and that somebody else also in the midst of that harassed them in any way, the harasser would be the only one who would be sanctioned.
I don't believe that for a second.
I don't believe it either.
Yeah,
but like the fact that he was told that is shocking.
Yeah,
frankly, the fact that language was used is shocking.
Look, so here's what's great, that the Ministry for the Promotion of Virtue and Prevention of Vice at BYU has changed the window dressing a tiny bit. But here's, like Doug, you were saying, what about the fact that this shit was on the book for decades, right? Yeah. And worse stuff even before that, having a lot of stuff having to do with race, et cetera, right? So what's so exasperating about when the Mormons do these little tweaks and they think it's a PR victory, and what they expect is that they never have to apologize for the fact that they were wrong for fucking decades or a century.
Right.
That making this tweak, the blood of the lamb washes away all their sin. Like they have no responsibility for the harm this caused in the past. Today's a new day. Let's look forward, not look back. And then they're absolutely flabbergasted when people are like, well, why the fuck did you have this on the books in the first place?
Yes.
Right? They refuse to accept any responsibility for it. As the church says, we do not accept nor grant apologies.
Right.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They literally have never apologized for any of this.
No, never.
This stuff is so fluid right now. It just kills me. It's like, look, get there.
Right.
Get this. I will apologize, and I will say I was wrong happily. Just fucking get there. I'm so sick of this slow walking these issues.
Well, and us all being skeptical, even though we've read all this stuff, is in part because the thing that I read from the guy from Affirmation wasn't an official statement from the church to the public. What it was somebody from the Honor Code office saying something to the face of somebody who was next to them.
Right.
That means so fucking little to me. I can't even. It makes my head roll.
As easily as they took that language out, they can put it back in.
Right.
Yeah.
And guys, they just fucking lie. Like their $100 billion fund, they just lie, right? Mm-hmm. And okay, Doug, you're like, well, I'm so excited, or not excited. I'm just catch the fuck up. Well, you did a piece, several episodes back where you talked about how the leadership of this church will perennially be 50 years behind, because that's how they're old Mormon men that are old for their age, right? They're backward for their age, and nobody else can change anything but them. So they will never ever be able to catch up to the times.
Never.
So if you don't have to go to BYU, don't. If you're stuck there, I'm sorry. I know there's lots of reasons people get stuck places, but
go on some gay dates. It doesn't matter. Even if you're not gay, go on some gay dates, see what happens, challenge them.
Yeah.
Just so that we just run the experiment.
Yeah.
Fuck up your life just for us. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, do it for us.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? So that's it.
There you go.
All right, well, fuck BYU. That's all I got to say.
Yes, indeed. Moving on.
Well, friends, that is it for this week's show.
Hey, if you go to BYU and have kissed somebody on a statue, send us an email at howtoheretic.com.
Or if you are the hero that put a rainbow flag as a cape on the Brigham Young statue at BYU,
yes.
Fuck yeah, leave us a voicemail about it at 903-88-HOW2, which is 903-884-6986. You can also tell me about it. Please do on Twitter at howtoheretic.
And a big shout out and much love to our patrons.
And thanks to Cody Layton for coming out of his pyramid to edit the show.
Yeah, and thanks to all of you friends for tuning in.
Bye, friends.
Bye.